Okay, well, hello everybody. Welcome to module four. Module six of our crypto cow mining farm business training. This is our final module, our final training. Yeah. So I'm really excited about it. To share with you what's next, and of course, now is a function of you guys going out there implementing it. If I have, if you have any questions that I haven't gone through so far, yeah, please do ask it now. If there's a lot of questions, if you are not on this call live right now, and you have those questions, feel free to submit it to me. If there's enough questions that make sense, I'll do a bonus training just to answer all of your questions. But if there's not a lot of questions, because I've been so thorough with going through it all with you guys, that I can answer via email or Discord, I'll do that. But yeah, so I'm excited for this module because this module is about going big. It's about how to go from the two miners to 10 miners to 100 miners to 1,000 miners. And some of the challenges and some things you look for as you scale up. Okay, so let's go right into it. All right, we're gonna start first with updates. Okay, there's a couple different updates I want to share with you. The most important one is Bitcoin. As I shared with you before on previous training, about the bull market and the bear market of Bitcoins, right? When I go in, when I go out, let me show you here. Oops. Where's my chart? Here's my chart. Okay. Let me close that up. So as you know, one of my trading method is that, is that whenever Bitcoin is above this orange line right here, okay? So when Bitcoin is above this orange line, this is when I'm holding the Bitcoin, okay? I'm holding it in Bitcoin. Whenever it goes below this orange line, green causes orange going down, this is when I sell Bitcoin and park in US dollars. So that way, it's not affected by the crypto, Bitcoin market. Okay, just a quick review if you don't remember. This is called the TDI index indicator. Okay, Traders Dynamic Index, and the main thing we're looking for is here on the daily chart. BTC over USD. You can choose Coinbase, or you can choose, from whatever exchange that you normally do. Like it could be Binance, it could be Bittrex, it could be Bitstamp. It really doesn't matter. The difference is not that much for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, US dollars, daily, in this case, Coinbase. Okay, so yesterday was here. Bitcoin was going down, was looking like it's gonna cross orange, so last night it actually ended below orange, and today, it's trying to climb up a little bit, and so this tells me that, even though it's below orange, it might not going to be below orange very long. So it could be a short bear market, because it's kind of weak down. There's not a lot of volume here. Okay, so it might do something like, let me find, like this one as an example. where it went down, but then it went back up, fairly quickly. Okay, so it's just flat line right here, and then it goes up. So that's a possibility. Nobody knows for sure, but one thing I do know is that I have to keep with my trading principle, and so my trading principle is that whenever it goes below this orange, I'm going to sell out, into U.S. dollars, and then whenever it goes back, whenever it crosses back above orange again, then I'll buy back in. Okay, so I'm willing, like let's take right here. Okay, so if I had, if I had sold out here when it crosses, and I have to buy back in here when it goes up, I don't mind. That's okay. Okay, it could be a very short bear market like that, and that's okay. I'd rather do that than take a risk of it going a bigger dip or a big dip like this, right? So I'm willing to go in and out of the market quickly for small dips, more so than taking a chance of not doing it, and it goes a bigger dip. So look at this one. This one you would have bought it here. I mean, you would have sold it here. You would have bought it here, and then you would have immediately sold it again to go down, right? So it's like it's a little bit tricky. I would have, I would use other indicators to confirm this, but for the purpose of this, this example, I wouldn't mind that I have gone in and out of the market several times right here in this short time frame. I'd rather do that than having to ride this dip down, because I could have, if I didn't ride this dip down, I could have buy back in over here. Okay, and again, a few trades here, would have bought here, sold here, bought here, right? So yeah, so I'm willing to do that. It's not, it's not major. These are daily indicators, so it's not like an hourly thing that I have to do. All right, it'll be like a day, 2 days, but most of the time it takes, a week, 2 weeks. Okay, so all right, so Brooks asked, does the slope and direction of the orange line make a difference for going to US dollars? The answer is no. I mean, the fact that the orange line is going up like that, that's a good sign. But if you look, okay, at the time when they dip down, the orange line is always like, most time it's always up. You see that? It's always up, but it's still dip. It still can turn depending on. So in this case, the orange line was going down, and then green crosses orange, and then it drove it up. But if you look at this, these are all going up, and then it dipped. Let's look at December, right? It was going up, right? And then, but when orange crossed down, because of the sharp cross down, it caused the orange to come down. But if you look at all of the dips, the orange was, going in the up direction. So I don't look at that too much. I just I keep it super simple, okay? And just look at that. There are other things that, if I really want to be more specific, I might like chart out, this lower high here, right? So you have a case where this, and I don't want to go into too much here, because this was take us into a more advanced trading, and that's not what this training is really. But if you look here, right? So you have this time frame, and this time frame. Even though the price action tells you that it's still an uptrend, right? It's still showing it's an uptrend, but because okay, but here though, oops, where did it go? Did I accidentally deleted it? Okay, there it goes. But as you can see, the you know uh, this indicators here is going on a downtrend, which is opposite of this, right? So this tells us where the market is heading. And so even though here it's saying that yes, it's going up as a trend, but this is saying that the market is actually heading this way. So you would trust this over this one. Okay, this is called divergence, where where the market sentiment and the price is diverging um, against each other. Okay, they're not in line with each other. So you would follow this, and so yeah. So there you have it. We'll go, yeah. So main thing is, so I am recommending, well, I have to I have to say that the disclaimers, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm only telling you what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is because green cross orange going down, I am now sitting in US dollars. I'm not sitting in Bitcoins right now. Okay. Now I do have some other trades that I'm doing with altcoins that I'm in position because it's going in a different direction than what Bitcoin is doing. But for the sake of the overall market, like if you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, if you look at all the big guys, okay, let's take a look at them. They all have a similar um, uh, pattern to them. Okay, so Ethereum hasn't crossed orange going down yet, but it wants to. It might get there. Litecoin is already touching, as you can see here. Okay, um, yeah. So we'll see. The positive thing about Litecoin is that it's still having this higher high, but it does have this lower low. But yeah, with Ethereum, with Litecoin, I'm not doing anything yet until it crosses the orange, okay? Because it's possible that it touches the orange and then go back up. So I wait for it to cross before I actually make my decision. So there you have it. And then Jermaine has a question about Bitman. Bitman has a lot of new machines on their website. What machine and coin do you think is best to start mining with? Where do we find the high-low indicator? Are you talking about this high-low indicator right here? It's called pivot high-low. Okay, so if you go to indicators, you do pivot high-low. Okay, that gives you this this high-low price. Okay? All right. All right, Bitman, you wanted to know about all the different products that they have. Yeah, they're going crazy with all these products. It used to be that they only have the Bitcoin machines and Litecoin machines, and that's it. But now they have many different ones. So I want to to answer your question. They have a lot of machines. Which one I buy? I favor Litecoin machines the most. For the price and the money they make and their flexibility in terms of there's a lot of coins that supports the script algorithm, so you can mine a lot of different coins with them. So Litecoin is always like my favorite, and however, with the Bitcoin machines, these S9s, they have dropped their price considerably. So now the S9 and the Litecoin are both very good to buy right now. And so you know, I would recommend, depending on how many you can buy, either buy one of each or two of each, if your house can support it. The good thing about the Litecoin machine is that they can run off of 110 volts, so your normal plug at home can work. Versus the Bitcoin machine, you have to run them at 220 volt, okay, or 208 and up. Okay, so that's yeah, that's what you have to consider. Notice here, this Litecoin machine is called the L3++, 580 mega hash per second, instead of normally you would, like a couple weeks ago, you would have seen it as an L3 plus with 504 mega hash per second. Well, the what this company has done, and I don't know if I talked to you about overclocking these machines or not, but if I didn't, one of the things that you can do with these machines is that you can increase their frequency, which have them run, like run with more resources, so it increases their mega hash. So I just received some L3++ yesterday, and what I have found is that they are nothing more than the L3 plus that's overclocked. So let me explain what that means, okay? Let me go to, okay, let me see here. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna show you by going to minor configuration, advanced settings here, okay? So on an L3 plus, when you receive it from the manufacturer, the frequency is set to 384 megahertz, okay? However, what I normally do is I normally overclock them, like increase them to 450 megahertz. And so they run faster. And what this L3++ did was that it came default at 450 megahertz. And so I believe that, the Bitman, they didn't do anything more than slap on a new label, okay, like change the label here and the label here to say L3++, and set the default frequency setting to 450 M. That's it. That's all they did differently. I mean, which is fine, I guess. But the difference between you buying the machine from them at the 450 megahertz versus if you had bought it from them at 384 and you increase it to 450, okay? So when you buy it at 384 and you increase it to 450, that can void your warranty. But if you bought it at 450 and you leave it at 450, then it doesn't void your warranty. It stays there. So that's the good thing about it, is that the way that I did it before, of increasing it from 384 to 450, I was willing to void my warranty because I know that the machines run stable anyway. So it wasn't something I was worried about. And now that they come at 450, I'm actually testing to see if I can increase it. So far, it hasn't been stable to increase it, but I'm gonna test it. I would like to get it to 500, if possible. Okay, let me see if one of my machines, let me see here, is let's see. Huh. Let me see if it's down. Let me try another machine here. My staff was testing this one earlier at a higher frequency. Let me see. So it's running at 500 megahertz now. Let's see if it's okay. So it's running, but look at the hardware failure on it. Okay, super high. So 500 is too high. So I'm gonna go ahead and change it down. I'm gonna try 475 and see, you know, what the hardware failure is gonna be. But this, you know, um, let me let it load here. But you know, if you're gonna play around with these frequency settings, you know, make sure you pay attention to the hardware and yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways, it's not coming back up yet. It's still rebooting. Okay, because after you change it, it rebooted. So we'll give it a little bit time for it to come back up. What does the L3 daily average coin? Here's how you can tell. Go to this website called ASIC miner value. Okay. This will, you know, give you a comparison of the machines. So first you scroll down here and you put in your electricity rate. Okay. So in my case it's 8 cents. So I'm going to put it as 8 cents. Yours could be something else. So make sure you put that to run it. Okay. So let's let's sort it by the name so we can see Bitman here. All right. So the L3 right here, okay, after electricity costs, is currently making $2.74 a day. Okay, and let me see here. Before the electricity cost is $4.75 a day. Okay, so it's making just a little bit more money than this you know, than the normal L3 plus 504 mega hash. Okay, and if you if you overclock the L3 plus to 600 mega hash, you can make a little bit more a day. Okay, you know, notice that right here. I've never seen this batch right here that came with 600 mega hash, October 2017. I didn't get any machine from October 2017, so that must be a very small batch. So most people probably didn't get this one. I haven't seen that on the market anywhere. So whoever got this, that's pretty lucky. You know, 600 mega hash at 850 watts. That's super good. Because this is more about right now with you know, with the L3 plus 1050 watts is you know, is what I'm paying for them. So it does use more electricity, as you can see, to run them at a higher frequency, but you know, it's to make more, but it does make more money, so it's worth it. Okay. I think to run it at 600 mega hash, you know, the frequency is probably around you know, around this probably around close to 500. What let me see what 475 does here. Oh, 475 is running at 620, so probably a little bit less. Okay. So let's adjust it down. Let's just to get to 600, just to test it. So if I was to adjust it down to, let's say 462, okay, might be 456, but let's just say 452 right now. All we're trying to do is we're trying to get this number to 600, okay. But like I said, play around with the settings. The S9, they don't let you play around with these settings anymore. They don't have this advanced setting option anymore, because they automatically set the mega hash, the frequency. But for the L3s, you still can do that. All right. So the S9s, you know, depending on which one you get, this will give you an idea. Okay, so for a few more $100 to get an S9, they are making more money, and so there you have it. Yeah, so the new drop in price for the S9 it's quite a good thing. But the thing to keep in mind if you are going to buy an S9 or a Bitcoin machine is that rumors on the street is that Bitmain is coming out with a new machine called S11, and they're expecting to come out with it around July timeframe, July or August timeframe. So if they do come out, then it's gonna make these S9 reduce its excuse me, these income quite a bit. And so that is definitely, excuse me, something to think about and consider. Okay. Alrighty. Let me see. Yeah. Where am I? Okay. Let me see. All right. So I hope that answers your question. As far as like, there's so many machines to choose which one. Don't worry about any other ones right now. Just focus in on either picking this L3 or this S9 14 terahash. Okay. I think I think these are the 14 terahash is a better bang for your bucks than these 13.5 or this 13.1 because the price difference is not that much. And so if you calculate dollar per terahash, let me see real quick here. So if I take, let's see actually, if I take 10 divided by 14, we're looking at $72.14 per terahash. So let's do 938 divided by 13, 72, so about the same. Let's do 974 divided by 13.5, 72. So they're all the same dollar per terahash. And because they are the same, it's better to go with the higher one because for that same amount of space that you have, whether it's physical space or like the number of plugs that you have to plug into your walls, right? Going with the higher one is better. Okay, so there you have it. So either this one or this one. Okay, and don't worry about anything else for now. Just if you're a beginner. Brooks asked, does the S9 comes with the PSU for 110? The answer is yes. Right here it says with PSU. Okay, so without PSU is over here for $925. Okay, so with PSU is 110, and without PSU is 925. So it's better to just buy it with PSU with the power supply. Okay, alrighty. Back to our training here. All right, next update I want to share with you is about the pool test results. Remember, these pool test results are for the L3s. I'm still doing this test because actually we got a couple of things that kind of messed up, but this gives you a general idea. So Litecoin pool is winning at $5.24. Pro hashing at 522 a day. Okay, this is average for the Litecoin machine. The L3s, nice hash at $4.69. BW with PPS payment structure, it's 519. BW with PPLNS at 455. Hold on here. This number doesn't look right. It should have been like that. But let me see here. VI BTC at 501 with PPS plus, and then VI BTC with PPLNS is 517. Ant pool 480, Ant pool 504. So you know, based on these, I would recommend to either go with Litecoin pool or go with pro hashing. I like pro hashing because you can choose what kind of coin you want to get paid. So for example, like this month, you might say, okay, I just want to get paid in Litecoin this month. Next month, you can say, I want to get paid in Ethereum. And then next month, you can get paid in Bitcoin, right? So so you can change, you know, you can change the how you want them to pay you. So for that reason, I like pro hashing. It makes just a little bit less money, no big deal. The mining pool that I'm testing right now, I don't have enough data really yet, is this one right here, called Mining Dutch. So I'm testing different variations of Mining Dutch right now. Ignore these data; they're not accurate yet, because we've been making some changes to them. But if I had, so basically, if I have an answer to, if I have a recommendation for you right now, it would be pro hashing. Okay, so let me see where. All right, so now let's get into going big. All right, so let's talk about, you know, what it takes to go big. Okay, so if you're gonna go, you know, most of our houses and our offices, especially at home, for most houses, it's hard to support more than 10 machines. So if you're running out of your home, 10 machines are kind of like your max for most houses. I have seen a friend of mine's house. He has 40 of them running out of his house right now, but that's a rarity. That's not a common thing. Okay, so for most of us, if we want to run a lot of machines, we're gonna have to either upgrade our electricity, our electrical system a lot, or or we're gonna have to go, like to a different facility. I'll give you an example. In my office, we didn't have the power to support a lot of machines, so I had to do a lot of different upgrades. So it cost me like $50,000 worth of upgrades in our electrical equipment to be able to support running 160 machines. Okay, if I could have, if I can redo that, I would not have spent $50,000 in the electrical upgrade. I would have, spent that money on buying more machines and sending them to different co-location facilities, and ones with a good price, of course, and not have to worry about all of that upgrades that we did, and stuff like that. And so all right, let me see here. Boom, 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 boom. The challenge with the co-location facilities is that depending on when you're contacting them, like back in December, almost all of locations were filled. Okay, everybody was trying to find a space, and so either you find a facility that they had good rates and they're filled up, you don't have any space with them, or you find a facility that charges an arm and a leg that it just makes no sense whatsoever to be able to run them. Okay, like where they take most of your profits. So, I'll give you an example here. Brooks, was nice enough, thank you, Brooks, to share, this spreadsheet that someone he knows compiled. And, I want to show you this, not so much to, make any recommendation of any of these companies or anything like that, but just to give you an idea of the range and look at what happened. And seeing all of these 100% full, I'm pretty sure that this was done back in like November, December timeframe. Because if we were to do this exact same study and call all these companies, I guarantee you they have a lot more space. Because a lot of people got out of the mining business because the market has gone down and it's just not profitable anymore. Especially with some of these prices that people were paying, but yeah. So whenever you see like this $65 kilowatt hour, kilowatt per month, that's good. That's a good good rate. Okay, because an L3, if you don't overclock it, it only uses like 800 watts. So that's less than 1 kilowatt. So if you take 0.8, okay, if you take $65 times 0.8, which is 800 watts, you look at $52 a month, to host with this company here. And yeah, so so this is a good company that is still worth contacting. I'm curious as to if they have any space or not. Let's go there real quick. Yeah, you might have to contact them to see, but they don't have anything on their website to show. So they may or may not, have space. But oops, where am I? Oh, over here. Okay. But if that was true, that's a good place to start. $80 per kilowatt per month. There you go. Hosting price, $65 for 12 months, $70 for 6 months. Yeah, these are not bad prices. Okay, Washington State. So yeah, if they still have space, that's not bad. Let's go to their website and see. Okay. So this is based on if you sign a 12 months commitment with them, $80 a month if you do month to month. Right now they are completely full because these are good rates. So it is, that's one of the challenge with finding facilities is that they do get sold out, or less expensive ones. So these guys that a little bit more expensive, there's a high chance that their facility might not be full. Okay, so as they get more expensive, there's a chance that that there's space available. Look at this, $45. That's pretty good. Okay, and they have different location: Malaysia, Labrador, Canada. Okay, 6 cents a kilowatt, $3 per month. Yeah. So their setup fee is really high, $150 per miner, but the rate's good. Okay, 1 megawatt is not a lot, so they probably don't have a lot of space. 160 Canadian dollars. What is that in US dollars? I don't know top of my head, but sounds. Brooks, what is that? 160 to US dollars. So I don't have to look it up. All right. Okay. This might be old because like ASIC Space is still here. I know they're out of business already. So I'm not sure how old this spreadsheet was compiled. Okay. All right. But anyways, as you can see, just different prices. So of course, you want to find ones that's the cheapest possible. Right now speaking, for an L3, if you can find a facility that will host the L3 for $65 a month or less, that's good. For an S9, if you find one that will host for $100 or less a month, is good. Okay. Anything over those, it's more expensive. All right. So that is for facilities. Okay, comparing prices. So if you're not sure, like, hey, how do I know? Just go on Google and put Bitcoin mining co-location. There's companies here you can call, get quotes. Okay. Yeah, some of them are real, like for example, Data Foundry is an actual data center. And so normally at actual data centers is more expensive than if it's like someone's warehouse. Okay, so I'll give you an example. All right, so these kind of places where you have nothing but Bitcoin type mining machines, it's much cheaper here than, like, let's say if you go data centers. These kind of, notice the difference in professionals, right? So these are like your web servers and stuff. These are the kind of data centers that they host them. And so when you go into professional spaces like these, it costs a lot more, because each of these cabinets here costs you roughly about, depending how much power is available for that cabinet, anywhere from $600 to $1,200 a month for each of these cabinets. But they can't put a lot of machines because they max out the power. So you can only put about 5 of L3s per cabinet. Okay, so it gets pretty expensive. Versus these type of facilities, right, where it's just made for Bitcoin, it's not very high tech. You can put a lot more machines, for the space that you have. Then it's cheaper. Okay, this is a big, nice data center. So these would cost more than these would be. Okay, you can tell, right? The budget look of it. Okay. All right. The first place to, well, not first place, but one of the places to also look in when you're looking for a facility, depending on how big you're gonna go. Like for me, for example, I'm trying to grow to 1,000 machines or more, and so for me, it makes the most sense for me to find my own facility, like a warehouse that I can rent or buy, and then build up my own facility. That's cheaper than if I go with a co-location facility. Okay, now it's not, finding a place is not easy either. So there's give and take, depending on what your growth goal is. Yeah, if your goal is to go into thousands of machines, definitely collocate. I mean, having your own facility is the way to go. But if your goal is just to do tens or hundreds of machines, co-location is the way to go. Much easier, much less headache. Okay. Um, okay. This website here has a listing. Let me find it of I have to go to it, of all the different states that has the cheapest electricity. Okay, so if you see here, Louisiana ranked the lowest as of 2016. We're in 2018 here, so these numbers might change, but at least it gives you an idea. They don't change too much throughout the years, but Louisiana is the cheapest. Washington State is the second. I would think Washington State would have been number one, but it changes. So for example, if we go to 2015 data, for example, then we will see that Washington State is number one and then Louisiana is number two. Okay, so they changes a little bit, not too much. Get back over here. Oklahoma is next, Idaho, Arkansas, Wyoming, Nevada, Kentucky, Texas, right? Going down the list. I'm surprised that Montana and Dakota is all the way down here. Some of these states, when you're looking at them in the, from the state perspective, their rate might be this, might cost this much, but when you drill down to the county level, then you might find a county in Washington State, for example, much cheaper than most counties in Louisiana. As an example. Okay, so let's say like Montana. A friend of mine is setting up a facility in Montana right now, and he's getting less than 5 cents per kilowatt hour. That tells me that the county that he's in beat most of these guys' counties, even though as a state it might be number 14, but the county that he's in is probably in the top 5 or so counties for cheap electricity. So a state gives you a gauge, but you really have to drill down to the county level. Some of these smaller towns have better rates because they have a lot of, like, especially hydropower is pretty cheap. So if they have a lot of hydropower and it's a small town where they're not using up all those power, then they can sell you a lot of hydropower for really cheap. So that's how you study that. There's another website called Electricity Local. So if you want, if you're researching a city, and you want to know, well, how much is it in that? So let's go to Oregon. I'm looking at a city right now in Oregon called the Dallas. So let me see if it's down here. Right here. Okay. Small town. And it tells me here, as you can see here, it says Washington is 7.68 cents per kilowatt hour, right? But when I drill down to the county level, to this city here, or the city level, I should say, okay, I can see that, a commercial electricity rate is 5.65, and if I'm willing to commit to a lot of power, it can go down to even 4.2 for industrial rate. Okay, residential rate's a little bit higher, but yeah. So this is electriclocal.com is where you can go to drill down, to smaller cities as you're doing your research. All right. One of the biggest factor to your growth and your scalability is power. Okay, because if you don't have cheap enough power, uh, it would be very hard for you to scale, because in a bull market, when Bitcoin is up high, the cost of power doesn't matter that much because you're so profitable. Like, who cares, right? Back in December, where the L3 was making $20 a day, the S9 was making $30 a day. I mean, who cares if it costs, $2, $3, or even $5 a day in electricity, right? But now, where the L3 is making, $5 a day gross, and the S9 is making like, it's $9 a day gross, something like that, then the cost of electricity matters a lot. Okay, so for long-term growth, long-term planning, keeping your electricity costs down under 5 cents is extremely important. So important. So if you're going to build your own facility, make sure that it's under 5 cents to build your own facility, because otherwise it won't be worth it. Okay. I'm going to go, just to give you a little bit of a background into a little bit about electricity that I get to learn in doing this, doing this business. But so, to know how much power you can have into the building, you want to look at what type of transformers they have. Okay, so here you're looking at this is what they call a pole mounted transformer, because it's sitting on the pole. Okay, and in a pole mounted transformer, 500 kVA is pretty much the max you can put on the pole, because it's too heavy for the pole to put any more than 500 kVA. So if you find a building, let's say you found a warehouse and it has a pole mounted transformer, then you maxed out at 500 kVA. Okay. However, if you find a building and it has a pad mounted transformer, meaning it's on the ground like this, okay, then your kVA would be much, much greater. It can go very, very high. I don't know what the upper limit is. I guess it depends on the size of this pad mounted transformer. I don't think there's really a limit. And so ideally is you find a building that that has a pad mounted transformer, so that way your ability to upgrade is a lot higher than if you have a building with a pole mounted transformer. So my office right here have a pole mounted transformer. We're at half of this right now. We're at 225 kVA right now, and we're working on trying to get it upgrade to 500 kVA. There's a process that you have to go through where you have to submit the load analysis, things like that, to the service provider for them to upgrade it. Like here at where we are right now, this is not the same everywhere, but where we are right now, for them to upgrade to a from a smaller transformer to a bigger transformer on the pole, it's free. It doesn't cost us anything. If we want more power, they can put in a second pole, so that will double us up, which so give us 1,000 kVA instead of 500 kVA. That costs us 25,000 just for them to put in a new pole, and then we still have the cost of running the electricity into our building. If we were to say, okay, well, can you install a pad mounted transformer for us? That's not going to cost us anything less than 100,000. 100,000 would actually be like bare minimum. Might end up to be like 200,000 to depending on the size of the pad mounted transformer that we get. So they're super expensive. They're not cheap. Okay. That one of the electricity company in Washington State that I called last week or a couple weeks ago, they charged 75,000 to put in a well, not put in, but upgrade the pad mounted transformer that at the building I was looking at, and what they said was, will once you use up at least 75,000 in electricity, we'll give that 75,000 back to you, but you do have to pay that upfront just for us to upgrade the transformer for you. So every electricity company have different rules and guidelines, so you can check with yours. Okay. All right. Just to give you an idea, I know, and the calculation that I created here is it's just using conservative numbers, but just to give you an idea. So when you're talking about power and stuff like that, so a 500 kVA transformer, like one of those pole transformer that you saw earlier, what that translates to is about 600 amps at 480 volts, which is about 1388 amps at 208 volts, which is what you can run these machines at. Okay. So what that means is that, if you're just running S9s, you max out at about 139 S9s. If you're running L3s, you max out about 231 L3s. Or you can combine, half S9, half L3s. Keep in mind that, whatever power you have, it's not like you can use them all just for your mining. You still need, whatever you might need for that building. And so these numbers are based on, calculating for other things that's like cooling that you might need, fans that you might need, and so on. So, if you have a building with 1 megawatt, okay, let's say you combined S9 and L3, you're looking at about only 370 machines, right? So if we go back to these facilities here, and they tell you how many megawatts and stuff that they have, you can see that a lot of these guys, they're very small. They can't accommodate many machines. Okay, so the biggest guy is this guy here with 5 megawatts. This is not a bad rate here, but 5 megawatts, they can house about 1,800 miners, right, machines. But most of these, like 0.5, 0.4, these are super small. They would be filled up really fast. Okay. Okay. So I hope that helps. Now, Brooks, what was the rate? Did you say that data center you were talking about in Canada? I think like they have one facility right now that was around $60-something a month, right? And then another facility that they're building that was going to be like $45 a month. Is that correct? So at $45 a month per kilowatt, I mean, I would ship all of my machines to them. The only challenge is that, with it being in Canada, for me to ship machines to them, there's, import taxes, and then I don't know what other kind of taxes I might have to pay, being from the States. But yeah, I mean, if it works out, at $45, that's really cheap. Like I would definitely send some machines there. All right. Okay. Part of your setup, if you're gonna build your own, facility and stuff, another thing you have to consider is airflow. Okay. Each machine, the fans, it sucks in about like 200, it's called CFM, cubic, I don't know what CFM stands for, I forgot. But anyways, that's how much air that it sucks in and blows out. And so if you're going to have your own I'm trying to find a facility here. Because the way that you do it, you have to have a hot aisle and cold aisle, okay? So where all the, let's say here, this is where all the heat, the cold air sucks in from here, blows out hot air over here, and it has to have a way to get that hot air out. When you have a building that's tall, then all of that hot air can go on top. But if you have a building that is short, like here, okay, then you have to exhaust that heat out somewhere. You can't just blow it into the room. It's going to cause way too much heat. So as you can see here, they build these box to blow the hot air in. And so whatever amount of heat that you blow into the hot box, you have to have enough exhaust to be able to blow them out. So I'm trying to look for some big exhaust fans to show you. So if you have, let's say if you have 100 machines and each of them is blowing out, 200 CFM, that means that would be 20,000 CFM. So, to support 100 machines, you would need, you would need a big fan that can suck out, exhaust fan that can suck out 20,000 CFM per minute. Okay. I'm trying to find a facility with exhaust for you. Let me see here. I found one earlier. You have to go find it. Okay, hold on here. What's my search term? Bitcoin facility. Yeah. There was a setup that I like, and that I was planning to do my setup like to use up the least amount of physical space, but be able to put the most amount of machines. And I found it earlier. I wanted to show it to you, but now I can't find it for some reason. So let me see. You see these exhaust fans right here? That's what's sucking out the air. Where are you, facility? Where are you? Huh. This is strange. We do Bitcoin mining farm. Okay, this one. So I like this setup. This is very similar to the setup I have now at my office. David said CFM stands for cubic feet per minute. Great, thank you. All right. So you have a heat box here, okay? All the machines from this side and then from the other side, they all blow their heat into this heat box here. And then from here, they have big exhaust fans up here that then blows that heat out through the roof. Most likely the exhaust is not sitting here, but sitting on top of the roof, sucking all the hot air out, okay? I have found that this setup, even though it looks very ghetto, it's the most space-saving setup than some of these setups that you might find. Okay, this kind of setup that doesn't have a heat box, this means that their ceiling is really high. See, like, look at this, very high ceiling, so all the heat can rise up here, and it's no big deal. So if you're fortunate enough to have a facility with that kind of high ceiling, that's great. But if you don't, then that's very challenging. This setup here, is not. This setup would be way too hot to run. I don't see any electrical, so I think this is just like, just for display and to sell these stuff, but not actually to run, because that would be super hot if you don't have a way to exhaust the heat out. Okay, look at this. All right, so this a tall ceiling like this, you know, you don't need a heat box because all the heat will just rise up to the ceiling. It doesn't come back down. But if you don't have a building tall like that, that's a, you know, that's very difficult. Here's another good setup too, right? So so yeah, so the, you know, they exhaust, see here, they exhaust all the heat out here. If you, you know, oh yeah, let's go back to this thing. So the difference between, like, let's say Louisiana versus Washington here, okay? Louisiana is like Texas. They're hot and humid. And so even though the electricity might be cheaper, because you now, because it's hotter, you have to, you know, it costs you extra money to run air conditioned system to cool the place, versus Washington State, where it's colder most of the year, where you don't actually have to run AC, you can use natural air. You know, your overall cost is less. So when you're doing these facilities, you know, you have to keep that in mind. Okay. Oh, here's some exhaust fans. There you go. So, oh man, this is like big time budget setup, but hey, it works. So they're blowing, you know, they're sucking in the air from this from natural air from outside, and then they're blowing the heat and blow it out up here. Okay, so sucking the air from down here, blowing out the air from up here, blowing out the heat from up here. But look, they're like up in the mountains somewhere, so they're probably in a cold climate. So you know, that might work. They don't have any filters here, which is bad because it's probably sucking in a lot of dust, okay, which also clog up the machines and make them run hot. So, you know, having intake filter would be good. A lot of people also, like, if they can find a city that hold on real quick here. My the office is probably wondering where I am to lock up. So let me tell my brother real quick. Okay. All right. Let me show you Bitcoin mining container. So a lot of people are doing these container type setup where they're putting their machines in a container and dropping it in a cold climate. You know, so instead of having an actual building, okay, they're you know, they're dropping the container next to like a power plant. And in cold climate this can work, but in hot climate like Texas, this won't work because you don't have enough cold air to suck in to support it. Okay. Another thing, if you want to play around, you know, one of the new types of setup that people are starting to try to do now is using liquid cool. 3M has a solution. It's called a like dielectric solution where it's liquid that doesn't transfer electricity, so you can soak the miner inside, you know, yeah, inside the liquid, so you don't have fan cooling. You're using liquid cool instead. Okay. Dielectric. Yeah, so it's submerged like this, okay, inside. This is a much more expensive solution to do, so it's not popular yet, but it is the future. You know, as these solutions get cheaper, that would be the way to go. Okay. Look at this. Bitcoin Aquarium makes 16,000 a month. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, so I haven't gotten into these yet, but being here in Texas, I am, um, you know, I'm considering it. I have to find an inexpensive way to make it work, though. All right, we are way over time now. So yeah, do you guys have any other questions for me for right now? How yeah, I hope. Let me see here. How often do you clean or perform maintenance on the machine? Do you ever turn them off for a period of time? We only clean them when they go down to, like, if they go down like multiple times, we'll clean them. But if they don't go down, if they keep on running, we keep on letting them run. We never turn them off or clean them. So only when they go down do we even consider cleaning them. Okay. And yes, we do run them 24/7, never turn them off. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up this call. If you have any more questions, I'll answer this other question, Brooke. How long do these fans last? Depends. Most of them should last for at least a year, but some of these machines, I think that the company ship them used, with used fans, and so they break down faster. But generally speaking, most of them, I mean, at least a year for the fan, at least. Uh, could be 2 years or more. And there's different fans, so different batch that you receive, you might receive a different type of fans, different brand. So some of them will last longer than others. But generally speaking, I've only had to replace the fans on a very few of them. Most of them works just fine. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for signing up for this program, going through this entire training. It's been my pleasure. It's been my honor to have share these information with you. I've had a blast. I've had a lot of fun sharing all this information with you. From here, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through email. The email that I've been emailing you from, that's my personal email. So, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. If you have machines that came in and you need help with setting them up or anything like that, reach out, let me know. And if if this is something that you see that you'd like to go big in, definitely, reach out. Maybe we can do something together. That would be pretty cool. So with that, again, thank you. And I'll talk to you via online. Bye, everybody. Have a blessed mining career. All right. Thanks. Bye, everyone.